What can you expect in a session of EMDR for birth trauma? So the first session always begins with an assessment and history taking. The therapist will ask what brings you to therapy, identify your current symptoms, triggers, and emotional problems, and how these are impacting on your life currently. A thorough assessment and timeline can be helpful to identify any previous traumas that might be affecting how you see yourself and the world around you, and also might identify other areas that might be helpful to consider in EMDR processing. The therapist will also think about how you would like the future to look, which is useful for keeping in mind how to measure progress. Next, the therapist will work with you to prepare for processing, in doing grounding work and thinking about how to tap into a safe place if the actual processing becomes too distressing. Your therapist should also explain fully the rationale for EMDR therapy, including how bilateral stimulation will work. It can be helpful to practice some of the various techniques in order to choose which feels the most comfortable. When it comes to processing the trauma, the therapist will ask you to bring to mind a specific memory from the birth experience that is particularly distressing and allow you to think about this as it was happening. They will then ask you to pause on the image that represents the worst part of the memory and pair this with a negative belief that you hold about yourself, such as, "It's my fault, I wasn't strong enough." The positive belief that you'd like to replace it with, such as, "I did the best I could," is then identified, as well as the emotions and physical sensations related to the memory. The therapist will then guide you through bilateral stimulation, usually eye movements or sometimes tapping or auditory tones, allowing your brain to process the memory. There will be an alternating bilateral stimulation and pauses where the therapist will check in with you and ask you to relay the headlines of what is coming up. The process repeats until there is no further distress with that particular memory when you think about it now.